What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Preach Culture podcast. We're super excited to be here today with another one of the pillars of culture in the Firehouse that we've come up with. We did brotherhood last week, and we're super excited to be on competence this week. We got a little bit of housekeeping stuff to handle before I go ahead and introduce our special guest. We just wanted to let everybody know that if you recognize yourself in something we discuss, that doesn't mean it's about you. We don't do anything in this podcast to call any individual out, any crew out, any department out, nothing like that. We're simply just sharing things that we've learned have worked in culture and things that we have identified that we need to do better and do more of. Guys, we're not perfect. We don't claim to be the all knowing teachers. Gene said it best yesterday. We are not here to solve problems. We're here to talk about them. We don't know all the answers. We're figuring it out, and we are learning day by day as well.
Right.
But if you do, I mean, if we talk about something and it hits home, think about why it hits home. We all have things we could fix. We try to fix things every day. We try to learn every day and just get better for the fire service as a whole. So we wanted to clear the air on that. We're never going to call anybody out. We're never going to shame anybody in this podcast. At the end of the day, we are all here learning and trying to improve the quality of the fire service nationwide. So today's topic is going to be competence, and we have a very special guest today. We've got Jared Robison with us. Me and him met through the 575 Fools and taught a bunch of classes through there. I actually got to join him on one of his classes through Elite Fire Training this year, and he's just a real stand-up guy. He knows a lot about the fire service, very educated man. So without further ado, Jared, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? We're happy to have you, man.
I appreciate glad to be here, man. Sorry my phone might be working and ringing throughout this whole thing, but my name is Jared Robison. I've been in the fire service for 23 years. Volunteered originally in Gordon County for 3 years. Got hired full-time January 2006. And then spent 17 years there and then decided to change to Cartersville Fire Department. Just change of pace and some different personal reasons, but been here about 3.5 years, and I'm now the training lieutenant in training division.
Glue, tell me about Elite Fire Training.
So I have Elite Fire Training. It's just a little cadre that I have. Do some training on the side, teach some different skills that I don't feel like gets taught very often in certain classes. Kind of like search class with patient care afterwards. Then I do another one that gives us some different scenarios: morbidly obese, hoarder houses conditions, Mayday situations with firefighter CPR. Just some different things that I feel like doesn't get spread out enough in training.
Yeah. And guys, if you're local to Georgia, I 10 out of 10 recommend trying to get in one of Jared's classes. They're awesome. He always has a curveball, and it always relates back to real world scenarios that we're going to run into.
Yeah, I think I've done some of the make the grab now what style classes and knowing that you've been at the center of all of those, man, really good job. Love all the stuff that we've done that's been related to that for sure.
Appreciate it, man. It ain't about me though, it's about getting the word out there and making people better.
100%.
Absolutely.
You do a great job of that, by the way, and we're super excited to have you on. We appreciate your time of day today, hopping in and giving us your insight on competence in the fire service.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and start this off. Basically defining competence. Every one of these pillars we get to, we kind of go around the room and get everybody's definition of competence. So, Gene, you want to lead that off? Jared, you can chime in as well, and then I'll give you all my definition of what competence is.
Yeah. So, competence, the way it states, especially in the fire service, for me is it's just the ability to consistently perform your job safely, effectively, and confidently under stress. It can always be broken down a little bit further than that, but that's my basic definition for it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
What you got, Jared?
Yeah, I agree with Gene. It's just about knowing your job, the in and outs, and being able to do it under duress or any circumstances required.
I mean, there's not really much I can add on. I think y'all absolutely killed that part of it. When you hear the word competence in the fire service, what comes to mind?
Ooh. In my mind, competence is it's your work ethic. It's knowing your rig. It's not waiting for the call to find out what you're lacking in.
Yep.
It's being prepared beforehand. It's making all those personal decisions to know your stuff before it's required to have.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say it's being the best you can be at whatever role you're in and knowing everything below you if you're moving up the ladder. But just, the basics is what wins the day in and day out. Be good at them and know your job, whatever your role is.
Absolutely. And I mean, to me, competent ties into the worst compliment you can get in the fire service. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
In my mind, all of the respect and the brotherhoods I built at the core are all built around competence.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never want to be surrounded by people who, one, don't like the job, and two, don't care enough to ever be competent at it.
Mhm.
They just become liabilities.
I agree. That's negligent retention right there.
I think a lot of our issues that we run into is people want to show that they're competent even when they're not. It's that ego check I've talked about in earlier podcasts. Is we get so concerned about our own ego or our own pride, and
Yeah.
it gets in the way of us actually being competent. No one wants to say they're not good at something.
Yeah.
That's like the slap in the face. And sometimes our culture's done that too, because we tend to try to look down on people that don't know. But
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is, it's our job to train them and get you ready for it.
And we hit on that a lot, like bringing rookies in and then making them feel horrible for making a mistake or making them not want to ask a question. And in turn, that will then make them lack competence because they're afraid to ask questions. They're afraid to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And then 8 months down the road, we're still just crap talking them.
Yeah.
Even though we're the ones that should have taught them all the stuff that they are incompetent about.
Yeah.
100%, man. That happens all the time. And I've seen that quote before, be the mentor that you wish you had when you were a rookie. And I really try to do that, And if you're an officer too, you got to eat a humble pie sometimes. You don't know everything. If anybody says they know everything in this fire service, then to me is an idiot, because you will never know everything.
The moment we stop training and stop learning, we're in trouble.
Yeah, that's usually when most people say hang it up. Just hang it up. It's time to get out if you think you know everything, because you don't.
And I feel like with competence also comes a certain degree of humility.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to have humility to understand what we're incompetent in.
Yeah.
If we don't have humility, we're never going to understand what we don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Humility is a hard one to teach too. Humility, it's a great lesson to learn. People can go their entire careers without taking that humble pie, though. You know, sometimes it requires a fire scene to humble some people, but even then, they might not want to look at it.
It's a tough thing to look at. It all goes back to the mirror test, and human nature is not to look in the mirror for the problem; it's to look outward for the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. It's a hard thing to do. Keep yourself in check.
100%. All right. So the next thing we're going to define is the difference between competence and confidence. Two very different things that people get mixed up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's confident, so he's got to be good. No, there's a fine line between being confident and being competent at the job. You can be both, but without one, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's without the competence. People can lie through with their confidence. I mean, you play poker with the best of them, and if they've got confidence, you get concerned.
Yeah.
So, confidence can hide a lot of things,
100%.
a lot of incompetencies for sure.
Yeah, I've definitely seen my fair share of firefighters who think they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, you put them on the line and make a task, and they're not as good as they think they are.
Yeah.
And, like you said, there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to be competent and confident. Like, I want that.
Yeah. 100%.
But do not be arrogant, because that's a big difference.
Arrogant. Once you become arrogant, it goes back to you can't learn anything. You know it all.
Yeah,
you start losing touch of always learning.
So yeah, I think that's definitely something though. Is 100%. You got to be confident, and that confidence will come if you're confident.
100%. I like the way you said that, and it all goes back to, like you said about your classes, simple tasks. Simple tasks such as stretching lines. I'm sure there's guys in the fire service that haven't touched a hose off of a truck in 5 to 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, coming from where you're at in training right now, you see a lot of those situations where people we can get as good as we possibly can on training grounds, or, at the house, pulling it on the back pad or wherever the case may be. we need to excel at that. We need to be super competent there.
Yeah.
Because when we get into the real world, when we get on a call, there's going to be unknowns. And if we aren't competent at the basic when it is completely controllable,
Yeah.
we're going to fail when
It's
the
chaotic.
uncontrollables come.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I have to say in my training classes and stuff, like I will try to get things as realistic as I can, but I cannot add that real world stuff of stressors and adrenaline rushes and the unknowns. Like you can't prepare for those. Like
Not fully, at least. I
Yeah,
mean,
not
I know
fully.
everything in your training classes add those elements as best they can, and they all do a really good job at that. The stuff that I've done for sure, but there's still just so many unknowns that could happen
Huh.
that you just got to be prepared for one way or the other.
Even in a live burn, like we add the element of heat and smoke and
Mhm.
stress. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're in a safe building. The
Yeah.
building's
Yep.
not coming down. We know there's nobody really alive in there. But if we can get good at stretching the line, forcing the
Yep.
door, searching every space,
Searching. Yep.
yeah, using a thermal correctly. That way, when we
Yeah.
get in those situations where it's like, hey, this could go south, we have that basic foundation, and I mean, we're not going to make as many mistakes if we're confident in the basic things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that kind of brings me to one of the biggest myths, and I know I've heard it. I know multiple people have heard it as well. I'll figure it out. I don't train because when my adrenaline kicks in on the scene, or I don't need to work out because once that adrenaline gets going, I'll be good to go.
Yeah.
That's a horrible mindset to have.
Oh yeah. Well, all of our skills are perishable too. I mean, you can get really good at technical rescue stuff. If you don't do it for a few months, that gets rusty quick. But that's the same with everything. Throwing a ladder, stretching a line, searching a house, drags, carries, everything. I mean, you got to consistently do it all the time. We always say, if we're a jack of all trades, a master of none, right? And that's what you got to be.
Yeah, I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head when it comes to how we train and how we do it, because I think a lot of people get out there and maybe they were good at the beginning. Maybe they did all those things.
Yeah.
And then they get to that arrogant stage where they're like, I don't need to do that anymore. I already did that. I already got good at it. And they don't realize how quickly, and quickly's, it's measurable based on each person and their abilities, but they don't realize what they're losing as they go when they don't train on those things.
Yeah. And we're all guilty of it. We all do it.
Yeah.
It's not a this person or they're spread out everywhere. But there's always something we can improve on. For example, we were throwing ladders last night.
Mhm.
There is no reason I shouldn't have hopped in with the rookies and, hey, let me get a couple more reps. I haven't thrown a 28-foot ladder in 2 months.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, we're all guilty of it. And if we have the humility, then we can change and we can become better.
Mhm.
But if we sit there and be like, I'm the arrogant guy, I know it all, I've done it all, we're never going to improve. And that's not fair to the citizens.
Yeah.
And one thing people fail to remember is, especially if you run MFR trucks or ALS or whatever, or even transport like y'all, medical training.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That stuff goes really quick. And if you don't stay on top of it, and what are 80% of our calls? They're medical calls.
We forget that a lot. 100%.
Yeah.
It's always something I like to try to keep in mind too, and I try to incorporate in a lot of our training. When it's extrication, throw a patient in there.
Yeah.
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 So
Now add that extra element that just change that up a little bit. But that works out.
One of the best extrication classes I ever had was through NAVRA. And at this time, I had been assigned to the heavy rescue station for like 5 years. So we did a good bit of extrication in the metro Atlanta area. And they were the first training I went to that threw a patient in there. And their main focus was patient first.
Mhm.
So once somebody came up to the vehicle and made contact with the patient, when you did your scenario, that person was not allowed to leave or lose patient contact until somebody else came in. Our first goal on scene, make sure that vehicle stabilized, get somebody in there with the patient.
Yeah.
And that was a cool way of
Exactly.
seeing it. I'd never been taught that way.
Yeah, because you usually go to some kind of extrication class and think about, stabilization or cutting or whatever.
I'm going to do the cool stuff.
The cool stuff, but then you throw those extra elements in there because that's what we're going to do. We're not going to ignore the patient inside,
Yeah, they're the priority.
That's,
So make it the
that's why we're
priority.
there.
Yeah. So question for you guys. When it comes to competence, I would say that we have a very, very dynamic job that requires us to be good in a bunch of skills. Back to the, jack of all trades. do you feel as if people can get overwhelmed with how many things they need to stay on top of? Like, I feel like we have a lot of things that require us to continually train on.
Absolutely. It can become overwhelming, but if you can break it down and do one more thing than you're doing now per shift,
Mm-hmm.
or take an extra 30 minutes and stretch a line and reload the hose bed,
Mm-hmm.
to take 30 minutes and do some CE hours on some EMS training.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we add one or two little things in, we can be okay. I think if you look at it as the big picture, like you were saying,
Yeah.
like, hey, we have 900 things we need to be jam up on. Yeah, it can become overwhelming.
Yeah.
But if we can dedicate set amount of time, and I mean, even at the house, before you go to bed, read an article.
Mm-hmm.
When you're sitting on the toilet at home, read an article. We can get a lot done.
Yeah.
It's good. So I used to, when I was on the truck, I like a plan. So like a Monday through Friday list that I got from one of my friends. So like Monday, I'd be medical Monday. Tuesdays, technical Tuesday. Wednesdays, wet Wednesday. So we do some kind of stretching or pump related stuff. For on Thursday, be ladder work, whatever we want, or for them. So you can do search stuff too. And then Friday was like forcible entry, just to have a plan and stick with it. So that way you get good at everything on a basis.
We're hitting every aspect of the job like that.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
I like that because again, back to firemen being simple creatures. We like routines and we like habits, and sometimes we get into the wrong routines. We get into the arrogance routines of I don't need to do things, but if we can get into a routine of hey, we're going to do this, doesn't matter if we do the same thing over again. It's just getting us extra reps.
And it doesn't, every time we train, it doesn't have to be some 4 to 6 hour ordeal.
Exactly.
We can go out and put hands on hose for an hour and be done.
Yeah.
Hey, let's stretch it a couple times. Let's reload it. Let's talk about it. Let's go over friction loss. Let's go over our nozzles.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go back inside. It's hot.
Yeah.
That's what I've always said is, every training exercise doesn't have to be a knockout, drag out thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You need those occasionally, but, anything. Just as long as you're keeping your skills sharp and doing something.
Now, I wonder, there is a good majority of people that don't want to be out training in the heat. They despise training. They despise this. I wonder if that feeling towards training came from overdoing the knockout, drag out training.
It could.
If people are like, every time we train, dude, it's 6 hours out in the sun. Our whole day's gone. We don't get to work out. We don't get to eat. And eventually it pushes them away from training.
Yeah, there's a level of that, if you're trying to push too far and too fast, you actually get the worst outcome of it. You get people that don't have the buy-in anymore to do the things that they need to do. So they're looking for that out. Yeah. People get burnt out on anything, whether it be running calls or training.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, everything needs to be in moderation. I think complacency too plays a big role. We all get complacent at some point. It's just not staying in that lull, in that hole. You got to crawl back out of it. And then the other thing that I've seen is we always want to do what we're good at.
Oh yeah, I see that all the time. If you're good at something, you'd rather train on it and just show people that you're good at it versus trying to get better at something you're not.
Because it's uncomfortable if we do
schedule.
Yeah. It gets uncomfortable when we start doing a task, especially in front of our crew, that we're not proficient at.
Well, it goes back into the ego concept I was talking about earlier. People's ego gets hurt if they do something they're not good at and their crew's good at it. Now, especially from leadership perspective, if somebody does something from the crew and the crew's better at it than the leader, I mean, sometimes that's hard to take.
Yeah.
It's just mindset stuff.
It is. And then you got, you run into people, everybody has different personalities and stuff, but the person who's afraid to not be the smartest person in the room, if I'm with a crew, like I want people who are smarter than me and better than me. Like it's going to push me to do better. Everybody has their skills and their, what they're really good at.
If I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep the people around you holding yourself accountable as well. That's what you got to do.
Now, let me ask y'all this. This just popped into my head. Let's say you get promoted, brand new station. You got a 2-year brand new FAO, and you got 2 probies just come out of recruit class. You are 100% the most knowledgeable person at that station, and you've got maybe 2 years of experience between everybody else, and let's say y'all are at 10, 15 years experience. How do you continue to learn, grow, and train being the smartest person in the room? Because that can happen.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it does happen actually more times than often now because of just the way everything is in the fire service. I think we're almost 50% 3 years or less guys at ours now, just because of
Wow.
the way things have worked out. And my advice would be don't let your department be the only source of your training. I mean, 575 Fools, there's conferences like every weekend now. There's YouTube, verify your instructors, obviously, but vet them to people who other people know. But there's endless amount of stuff everywhere. There's something every weekend somewhere. Just how bad do you want to learn and how bad do you want to improve?
Dude, I know at least at your MAFC class, there was we had 5 or 6 groups of guys whose lieutenant were there with their FAOs, with their firefighters, taking the same class and training.
Learn
and
together.
that was awesome to see.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Yeah, all that's doing is building, credibility for yourself, but also crew integrity.
Yep.
Suffering, man, brings people together. Yeah, go learn with your guys. Or if they go take a class, tell them to come back and teach you what they learn.
Yeah.
And especially yours, because there's a lot to learn at your classes. So even as the company officer in that situation, you're not going to retain 100% of that information.
Right.
So you might have retained this 80, and your tailboard over here the 20% he retained is the 20% you don't remember.
Yeah.
And now you guys go back to the station, and it's like, wow, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have teaching points.
I mean, that's what I've always said. Anybody that takes a class anywhere, come back, show us. If it works for us, cool, we'll implement it. If it doesn't work for our, geographic area or whatever, then scrap it. But you're going to take a nugget from somebody everywhere, anytime you go anywhere.
Absolutely. Whether you learn what to do or what not to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people that'll come back with those, just information they get from a class or whatever the case may be. And, they invest so much of themselves into this is the next thing, this is the best thing. And there's a lot of disappointment when it doesn't work out exactly perfect with the department just because they learned it in a class. And I think that's that ego. That's that I think this is going to be the next big thing. I want this to be great. I invest so much in it, which you want people to invest in those new ideas. But again, checking that ego at the door is the only way to do that, because it might not work.
And bring the ideas back and talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we can still, at the end of the day, if the idea doesn't work, we can take something away from the idea that can work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. We've done that, plenty of times. Somebody shows something, I'm like, well, and then we all kind of work together and make it benefit to us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We can learn something out of everything. I think I put this in a post yesterday or the day before. Firemen, a lot of the time, are the worst gatekeepers of knowledge.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
We get knowledge. We're like, I want to be the guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to hold on to that. And I want to be the one that you got to come to for it. And it makes them feel powerful, whatever the case may be.
But then you can't, the issue you run into there is you can't be the gatekeeper of knowledge and then complain about others' competence.
Yes.
When you have the knowledge to improve competence and you refuse to because you want to be the guy that gets called on.
Yeah. I know, like a lot in our department, we always lean back to blaming, the training division, or blaming, I don't know if your training division teaches your recruits or if it's separate, but for us, if we get a new recruit, we get so frustrated that they don't know certain things instead of understanding that they're brand new.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they learned in fire school, because maybe we've been out of the, fire school world for a decade or so, or whatever the case may be. We don't remember all of the things we didn't learn. We just know what we know now, and we can't put ourselves back in the position of when we were brand new, and what we knew or what we didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. Ask them, and tell them to speak freely if they don't know. Hey, I've never done that. I've never shown that. I've shown it once, and we only did it one time, and I don't remember. And then,
then there's a way of going to training after that and being like, hey, we noticed our last 3 rookies were they were lacking on catching hydrants, said they had only done it once. You think in this next recruit class and from here on out, we can add more hydrants in there. Let's get these guys better prepared. But we don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
We just sit around the table. Man, training sucks. They don't do nothing. These guys are never ready.
Yeah, bitch and complain because we got to teach them something, when in turn, our entire job is to teach them.
We're being taught as we're complaining about teaching them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's it, is they learn basically the bare minimum, usually in rookie schools. They know enough to know the bare basics, and that's it. everything else is OJT, man, on-job training. That's up to everybody else to teach them.
That's what we signed up for. We had somebody at some point take a risk on us and pour into us and train us. We owe it to the next generation of firemen as well.
Yeah, I was a dumb 18-year-old. I know that when I came out into the field, I did not know anything.
Yeah.
I wanted to pretend like I did, just like anybody else would. You don't want to, again, that goes back into I've walked these steps. I know that there's ego involved.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You don't want to look dumb. You don't want your crew to push you out and say, wow, we got to teach him all that stuff. Nah, I just won't waste my time. You don't want to feel like a burden, you know?
Yeah, but that's the fire service we're going towards now. You know, we got to teach them how to wash clothes, how to wash dishes, how to cut grass, how to start lawnmowers, chainsaws, weed eaters. You know, and if you're not up for that role to fill that, then you got to adapt with the changes.
And adapt with the changes, or this job may no longer be for you.
Yeah.
If you're at that point.
You were saying something earlier, like when we get new guys and maybe you're surrounded by people that are relatively new in the fire service and you might not have the ability to learn. I would challenge you to say that you do.
Yeah.
Because we just had a recruit who was the most knowledgeable about radios.
Yeah.
Like I sat down and learned things about radios. I had no clue.
Absolutely.
So we don't necessarily know their background. Now they could have come straight out of high school, but that still doesn't mean they don't have valuable information that you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, you got to ask those things and be humble enough to listen.
Yeah. We don't know it all. We're never going to know it all.
No, definitely not.
And the big thing this all ties back to is we have to, another big word we mention in every podcast, we have to have ownership over our competence.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We have to. If we lose the ownership of it, that's when we start getting lackadaisy. That's when we start getting complacent. We start getting arrogant. And we start, instead of looking in here first, we go back to the default human nature. And anytime something goes wrong, we look out here. Who can I blame?
Yep. Blame everyone else but yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
The department doesn't owe us training. They don't owe us motivation. They don't owe us rookies that come out of recruit school being excellent.
Yeah.
They do the best of their ability, and it's up to us to do the rest. They keep us to a standard, and we've got to exceed that standard via us.
So you brought that up. You can't see it probably good, but I got it tattooed on me. This world owes you nothing. That's for everything, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to earn everything. You got to want to.
Work and earn. Yep.
Yeah. And we lose touch of that, and that creates issues. And again, it's something we've all done, or we all currently do. Everybody makes these mistakes.
Oh, yeah. You got to own it and learn from it. So one thing coming in the training division, too, that I've noticed, and I've been guilty of it myself, you know, and I don't know how it is over there with y'all, but people kind of tend to expect training division to give all the training all the time.
Yeah, we get that for sure.
It's not our job, you know. Our job is to facilitate and give training when it is needed and on certain things and implementation and all that good stuff. But if you're leaving it up to your department to give your training, then you're already messing up. It's on you, you know.
It's just that initial reaction of let me look outward before I look inward.
Yeah, a lot of people, the same thing with changing, like nothing changes quickly in the fire service at all, ever. But
yes,
everyone obviously, they look up for somebody higher up, whether it be the training center or the admin chiefs, whatever the case may be. They're looking for them to make those changes. And I went to a conference that taught me a very important lesson on, think of it like a pyramid. It's easier to move the pyramid from the base than it is the top. They're just up there steering. They're allowing you to make the changes. So if you think that your admin or your training division is going to push you in the direction, they're going to steer, but they need you to push.
Yep.
So we can't just take the back seat and expect to get a free ticket to everything, you know?
We all got to work together.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So let's get some opinions from you guys. We have a listener, and their simple question is, how do I build competence for myself? And how do I build competence in my firehouse? What are you going to tell them?
I would tell them reps on reps on reps on reps. That's where the competence comes from. Is hitting it, and if he doesn't know how to do it right off the rip, then find someone who does, get them to
Yeah.
teach them, and then hammer it until it's just second nature and muscle memory.
Until you can't get it wrong.
Yeah.
Yep. And as far as infecting your crew, I mean, depends on your crew. You know, some people don't want to do good. Some people are fine being where they're at. I would say just keep doing what you're doing and try to influence them, try to include them, ask them if they want to do it. You know, hey, always try to include them. If they say no, that's on them. I mean, there's only so much you can do.
He would have been great on the Brotherhood one.
Yeah.
We hit on that. We hit on that a lot
Yes.
about how do you, if you're in a situation where you've got that guy on your crew that doesn't want to join training, doesn't want to do anything extra, at what point do you have to be like, I'm doing everything I can? And that's exactly what we hit on, is always try to make them feel included. Always shoot them an invite. They keep telling you no, then you've done everything you can do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Forcing them to do it is not going to make them want it anymore.
Yeah.
And at our core, we're never going to be great at this job unless we want to do this job.
Exactly. Yeah, that's definitely a true statement. I expect everyone to be competent, but yeah, to be great, then you've got to want to do it.
Yeah. You have to love this job.
Yes.
We picked this job. I don't know how you don't love it. It's not like a desk job where we're like, oh yeah, I work this job because I make $150,000, $200,000 a year. It pays the bills. Like, we don't get paid a lot. I don't understand why you would do this without loving it.
I don't either, but I guess that's why we're passionate about it.
Absolutely.
Kind of like what you were saying is some people start with that, and sometimes they need that passion given to them.
Yeah.
Like maybe you started with, I just needed a job.
Yeah.
Like in mine, I wanted to help people. And I didn't know everything. I thought the job sounded cool.
Yeah.
But then the passion grew as I got into it because I wanted to get good at it, you know, because I did love the job.
That was me. I didn't join the fire service because I wanted to join the fire service or because I wanted to help people.
Mm-hmm.
I got laid off of a job and I needed money. And the fire service was my only option at the time.
Yeah. And then the passion grew.
That's where the passion came from, was my leadership I had.
Yeah.
The people that I came up under.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unfortunately, some people get stuck with not great leadership and it kind of ruins them in their career, but
yeah,
that's a whole nother topic.
Well, hopefully as a fire service man, we can just keep trending upward with this culture.
Yeah.
Keep getting better, keep creating a stronger brotherhood that's built on things like ownership, humility, competence, legacy, basically all the 7 pillars we discuss in the 7 pillars of Firehouse Culture series.
Yeah.
Just building on all of those to create the bigger goal, which is a firehouse culture that we want to belong to.
Yeah.
That we want to go tell our friends, hey, dude, you need to come work here.
Yeah.
This place is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And again, the culture is never going to be perfect. There's no chance for that to ever happen.
Yeah.
But if you can recognize in yourself that maybe you can improve, you're going to make those small improvements, and then it's going to change the culture over time. It's, again, never going to happen overnight. It's not going to be quick. But if you're not improving it, what are you doing? You know,
just taking away from it. You're being a leech.
Yeah.
Don't be a leech. People don't like leeches.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a lot of grit and, you know, sacrifice too to make things.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It is uncomfortable. We don't like being uncomfortable as humans.
No. We like status quo, man.
Yeah, we want to fit in and be like everybody else.
Yeah, quit shaking the tree.
Yeah.
And make somebody mad.
At firemen, there's 2 things we're afraid of: stuff staying the same and stuff changing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting pissed.
Definitely. And that's the way we've always done it.
Yep,
it is.
It's funny how that all works.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I don't have much more written down here, guys. Anything you want to add, Jared?
No, I mean, just I appreciate what y'all are doing, you know, like that y'all putting out good stuff, good content. But just everybody just needs to, you know, if you don't love your job and you're not happy, find another job. Like, we're here to help people. That is our sole purpose. And if you've lost that, then either find it quickly or get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that the other day. One of the most feared words in the fire service to say to somebody is, maybe this isn't for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it shouldn't be that way, because it's not for everybody, and there's no shame if it's not for you.
Definitely. I've said that from day one when I got in the fire service. Like, this job is not for everybody. You know, not everyone's cut out to see and do the things we do, and that's okay. But you got to recognize it, and you got to make that choice if it's not. we deal with people's lives day in, day out, whether it's our own or our crew or the people we're going after. Like that, to me, that is the ultimate responsibility.
Everyone gets bad attitudes and different things that can affect them when they come into work. If we don't have the capability of recognizing when we're not our best and verbalizing and understanding that we need to get there because this job relies on it, we're setting ourselves up for failure. Like I came in yesterday and I said, you know what? I'm a little pissed off this morning.
Yeah.
And
you did.
yeah, but I was able to recognize it. You can verbalize it. You can say it. Your crew can be there to help you, and you can move forward.
Yeah.
It's like you can have bad days. You can have levels of, okay, maybe I'm not good at this, but you can also train your crew to be there to support you when you aren't top or competent at that time, to where you can still make it through. You just can't stay in that rut. If you stay in that rut, then you got to recognize that too.
You figure it out, or like you were saying, figure it out quick or get out of here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, everybody's going to hit it, man. The 5-7 year mark, you're going to hit a lull. And then probably again in, 12, 15 year mark, you're going to hit another one.
Yeah.
Like it goes highs and lows with everything. But yeah, like you said, get your crew involved. Like I used to do all the time when somebody come in, I'd be like, something's off with him, man. And I would just kind of dig at him until he spilled the beans, and then we moved past it. Like know your guys, know your people, know when there's something's going on.
The cool part is you hit that lull at 12 to 15 years. If you've invested in everybody you've trained, everybody you've been under or that's been under you, when you hit that 12 to 15 lull, you're going to be surrounded by a bunch of dudes that aren't in that rut that can help you get out of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're going to help keep you accountable. And we can't recognize people keeping us accountable as a bad thing.
No,
a lot of people see that as, oh man, you're talking down to me now. No, it's the brotherhood style that we're talking about. It's the support.
Yeah.
So, build it up. And then when you hit that rut, that's when the brotherhood can take over and help you out for sure.
And that's one thing, I would say also is go to these places, go to the 575 full classes or whatever full chapters near you, go to Bears Oath, go to different conferences. You're going to meet the people who are into the job. And they are the ones that are going to pull you out of the lull the most. Hang around like-minded people, it always gives me a nice little boost when I go, whether I'm taking a class or training, like just being around those guys and girls, those hard hitters who are into the job, wanting to get better. Like it gives me a little boost.
Yeah. I was on shift the other day. I was working an overtime shift, and we had a recruit graduation, and I was working at a station that, kind of outskirts, doesn't really go to much. But I wanted to go to the recruit graduation, so I got the crew up and we went down there, and we were leaving, and the guy he's probably in that, 5 to 7 year range. And he just said, man, it was nice. It was just nice feeling good about the job again. It was that motivational speaking that some of our fire chiefs were given that just relit something in him to say, this job is awesome.
And it's tough on those outskirt stations. You don't get to go to the cool stuff like that all the time.
Sometimes you don't. Or sometimes it just takes that little bit of extra effort to go do something that might not be what you want to do, but you get a lot out of those things. Maybe he hadn't heard anything motivational in a while about his job, and he was kind of in a lull like we were talking about. And just something like that, something you don't even recognize, can help just a little bit.
Yeah. We got to keep this fire going. Got to keep the fire in all of us. We owe it to our brothers.
That's right. For sure.
So, all right. Well, if y'all don't have anything else to add, man, Jared, we really appreciate you being here today. It's been awesome hearing from you. Once we finish these 7 pillars of culture, we'll probably have you back on for another topic, just because, like I said, I think you're very knowledgeable. I like the way you think. I like the way you teach. I think it's great for our listeners to have people like you on the podcast to learn things from as well. And like we said at the beginning, guys, we're not here to solve problems. We're here to talk about them. We're here to brainstorm, bounce ideas, take whatever ideas you guys want and run with them. Or if we say something that you're like, I had a problem and that's not the way I want to solve it.
Yeah.
You also took something away from it.
Yeah.
We're always students. We're always learning, and we have to keep doing that. Increasing our competence, increasing our brotherhood, ultimately increasing our culture.
Yeah. There's no one right way to do our job in any circumstance. So we're not sitting here saying we know the only way.
Yeah.
There's plenty of ways. We just know that we need to be pushing in the right way. And right now, this podcast for us is pushing us in the right direction,
Yeah.
making us better.
Challenging us as well.
Yep.
All right, Jared. Well, like I said, man, thanks again. We really appreciate having you on this afternoon, man.
I appreciate y'all, man, and I got to give thanks to God because without Him, I wouldn't be anywhere near this place giving these opportunities. So,
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again for hopping on, dude. We'll let you get back to work.
yes, sir. Y'all take care.
See you, bud.
Take it easy.